I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Didn't see anything on the minutes, did you?
Okay, no, I didn't either.
Okay, make a motion that we approve them.
Then I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You guys did, or there was a handwrite on
Yep.
Friday.
Correct.
So the first part is for the handwrite. You just sign it as an acknowledgement that there was a handwrite, and then the claims is on the bottom.
Okay.
Morning, Kyle.
Morning, how are we doing today?
Good. Did you see claim?
Did you?
No.
Got a question for Myron, but I don't believe he's coming in.
Is that?
He's not? Sorry.
Then I'll make a motion we approve them.
Okay, I'll second it. All in favor of approving the claims?
Aye.
Aye.
Kyle, I think we're just waiting for the clock to tick.
That's fine. I got none but time.
I think I'm running short on that.
I think time actually speeds up as you get older.
Yeah, it does seem to pick up as you go downhill.
If you look what a month is to a 12-year-old, it's 1/12 of their life, but to a 30-year-old, it's 1/360th, so it speeds up.
Never put numbers to that.
I try and like break every clock I find, but it just doesn't work, keeps going. It's supposed to be easy, just pull batteries up.
Any reports, Rick?
Had Central Iowa Juvenile Detention, and the way I was feeling last week, I did that via Zoom. And that is the beauty of these Zoom meetings. You know, you can be under the weather and still participate. Just some information to pass on to you. We came in last fiscal year with them under budget. We had 10,000 set aside, and we came in at 8770, which is good. And so it's just some information here, and just an FYI, it shows some, has nothing to do with detention, juvenile detention, but it does, the last page here shows wage comparisons for their area. But just give you a few things to look through. I you don't have enough. So that's basically it. And yourself?
Oh, I just had a meeting with the director of the WMA out here on the different projects, and that's about it.
Good. Probably close enough for Kyle. There.
Yeah. Go ahead and start.
Hi, Kyle Allen, engineering here, requesting a variance in regards to some of the subdivision rules, particularly preliminary plats on the associated documents that is marked right. You'll have better, because these sections to the ordinance, the numbers and codes and all that stuff, but we're here on the request of variance here, David and Aaron Coleman, they're in the process of purchasing some property from, I think it's a Dorothy Hackett.
Yes.
And basically they want to split it in two. They're going to keep the south half and continue using it as continued land use. And then the north half is going to be sold to an adjacent landowner who also owns one of the lots in Hillside Farms. I can kind of show you real quick, and I'll go around. They're buying, this is what Dorothy Hackett owns. They own lot 4 right now. They're basically going to split it about in here. The owner of lot 2 here is going to buy the north portion. They'll retain the south portion. No change of land use. And kind of go over here. This is they Coleman's own lot 4. They're wanting to split it about the south line of lot 2. Owner of lot 2 would get the north portion. They would retain the south portion.
And that's Hackett with an H, right?
Yeah, Dorothy Hackett is the current owner.
Down my
Can
shoulder.
I borrow that?
Certainly.
What I would add to this, from what Kyle said to you, is right down here on the Hackett property in the early 2000s, they sold this lot to their son, right down here. And so that constituted the split that counts. And so in order for these folks to do this, and they're not talking about a residential development, it basically already has a house on it, which the Bowmans would keep, and they expressed the thought to me that they'd like to continue to have that so that it could be like a mother-in-law's quarters or something like that if someone comes to visit them. But there basically is no issue with it, it's just that, okay, that is the third split, and so we suggested that they go the variance route to hard surface road requirement, because there isn't one there. And then some of the other requirements as in, particularly the preliminary plat and whatnot, and that's all they're asking for. They are going to prepare a final plat, and they would have to prepare all of the attachments that go with that. But it is not for residential purposes at this, they're not looking at building any new homes here. So I thought it was in order to do that.
Whereabout is this?
Where, well, no, probably.
Between Shellsburg.
Okay. Harder Grove.
Yep,
Harder Grove, and it's right down
Yep.
here.
Same.
Yeah, what we're doing.
got it. Know it well.
Coleman's own lot 4, they're buying all of this that Dorothy Hackett owns. They're wanting to split it in half, and the adjoiner in lot 2 would get the north portion, they would retain the south portion. And we're just requesting a variance in regard to some of the subdivision requirements. Kind of similar to what we've done before.
Make the motion that we go ahead and approve that variance.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Kyle, you need our seal on a copy of this too.
Oh, what?
For the resolution, you need the seal on it as well.
At some point in time. I don't need it necessarily today. It's just by the approval today, it allows us to start the process of completing the field work, so I can get that next week from Haley.
I have 2 here, so I can give you one.
Okay, that'd be great.
I'll just have to seal it after they sign.
Want me to do the next one?
Sure.
You have that?
I don't.
Oh, Gina does. Gina was right.
Yep. I got one. She on? Awesome.
I got 2.
Thank you. You're on the ball.
I can be.
It's my second Monday.
Want to go for the next one?
Yeah.
Go ahead. It says reapproved resolution for the final plat for Cromer's First Edition. Back in April, you approved a plat for a property that is north of Salisbury. It was Rob Cromer was the owner. Everything was duly done. It did not get recorded. per our ordinance, a final plat needs to be recorded within 120 days of the date of approval. That includes the final plat and of course the resolution. So this is just re-looking at something that was already approvable and was approved. In order to make it formal, that you have to re-approve it so that it can be recorded. And so I recommend that you do that.
So moved.
And seconded.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It is a resolution.
Okay.
Primer, aye.
Beershank, aye. Seaman, aye. Another 120 days on it then?
Just to clarify, there was some issues with the financial institution that were kind of dragging their feet. I was notified at day 122, so that it hadn't been recorded. So I was just kind of going through the process. But they've got everything in order now. So once we get this resolution, hopefully in the next week or two, everything will get recorded. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You guys have a great day.
You too.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
Still got your cold, eh?
No, it's all loosened up. It really has. Was really tight, but now it's got all this
Good for you.
crap coming out. So you get this post-nasal drip and, oh my God. Makes you think I should spray myself with that Lysol over there. But I've got enough medication, I should be pretty sterile.
Well, Mark, we can start up.
Well, on your agenda today is that you're looking at bringing up the matter of land use change application from Samuel Tiernan, bringing it off of the table. You reviewed this on July 27th and tabled it. Just quickly to refresh your memory, the application was for a storage garage and to create a residence within an existing building that was on the northern part of the acreage. During the review, it was determined by secondary road department that the driveway was lacking site distance and there wasn't a good opportunity to correct that situation anywhere in front of that property. So you tabled it in order to be able to seek county attorney's advice in respect to the liability issue that may be accrued by the county in respect to that change. The parcel size is 2 acres, currently owned by John and Karen Allpress. I really don't have anything new from our perspective about that. I assume we'll have an opportunity to talk to county attorney, and so you go from there.
You did visit with him,
I talked to the county attorney.
as I did as well.
Okay. There's really nothing, since the ordinance is already site distance from the secondary roads, it's not, there's not enough room. I did go down and visit that place twice now. I've been down there. I was thinking that we could have somehow made your driveway higher, so you had a longer sight distance. I met with Randy down there. No. It won't help. I mean, it's just a bad situation right where you're at. With the ordinance that's in effect right now, that the only way that we could maybe get it through there, and the county attorney advised me, says, no, we can't really do it if we change the speed limit down in front of that building site to 35 mile an hour. But you know how signs don't make people do 35 mile an hour. So that's why he said even if we changed or changed the sign, speed limit sign there, and there wasn't an accident, they could still come back on the county.
What is your guys' names?
I'm Sam Tiernan.
Okay.
Bonnie Ehrenberger,
Can you spell that last name for me?
EHRENBERGER.
Okay, thanks.
I gave my
So,
copies to the county attorney. This has an existing driveway.
Yes.
How long has that driveway been in existence?
30 years.
Yeah,
Over 30 years.
Over 30 years.
before the ordinance.
See, I'm wondering if there's some sort of grandfather thing. I didn't ask that with the county attorney, you know. How do you, and how many?
I did kind of throw this out to Randy. I says, now, okay, what happens if they say, you know, the buildings are there, we're gonna use them. The driveway's there, we're gonna use that. Randy says, that's fine, but down the road, that culvert's gotta be replaced. It's not gonna be replaced, it's actually gonna be taken out and no driveway there. According to the ordinance that we have today.
So what makes this property any different from the one next door or the farm down the road? Because they're businesses also. And have they been,
The site distance, the site distance.
Do they all qualify for the
Yes,
site?
yes, they do, yes, they do.
The other thing is that the difference here is that you're asking for something new on an existing parcel. And
well, it's not new, but
Yeah, but it should have been, okay?
I know, but
That's not your issue, it's not your fault.
That's right.
It's just- But it's just a fact of the matter is that whomever it was that converted one of the buildings into storage did that with board approval, so it still exists as being non-conforming in the eyes of our ordinance. And that, like I said, that's no fault of yours or anybody else's, it's just a fact. It's a non-conforming situation. So when you brought your application up as far as creating a residence there and wanting the storage, the only call we can make is to say that, well, you have to go through this process. Having to go through this process and having it be identified that there's a non-conforming driveway as well, I mean, that the board has to make a decision to approve or deny the use, but the driveway situation is relevant. Yes, it's been there, but on the other hand, it probably also was not reviewed. Now, it was likely before our existing driveway policy, but on the other hand, at this point in time, we are looking at a new use, and so therefore it is relevant. The criteria has to be met. So, I mean, that's the only thing we can say about it from a land use perspective. Now, the other thing that was mentioned to me from Randy is that in the future, and it kind of dovetails with what he spoke to you about as far as replacement of the culvert. If in the future, the Board of Supervisors collectively as a body said, we want all of the non-conforming driveways that exist in the county brought up to snuff, there's no place to make a conforming driveway on this parcel. So if there's a residence there, what are you gonna do if you can't have a driveway? The board would have to say, well, all driveways that are non-conforming are coming out. Same situation as the rusted out culvert that has to be replaced. And so from that standpoint, it was just a point that he made to me that's something that you might want to consider. Yes, it's been there, been no accidents, but on the other hand, now we know that we have this situation, and that's what makes it a liability issue.
So this could be sold off as current usage. Is that correct? Because this is, what they're looking at is a new use, which is a residence.
When you say current usage, I would say yes, other than the fact that there's a non-conforming storage shed there that should not be there. This day forward, if indeed you, whatever direction you go here, if you choose to deny that, then that storage shed, it's not conforming, it's not supposed to be there. It's a violation.
And that was put in unbeknownst to anyone.
I understand, but
In 1983.
But when it all started, this property was all together, and there was another driveway, and there was another access in, I believe, if I have my facts.
It was
straight.
always still two separate pieces of property. It was never
Yeah.
one whole
But
property.
owned by one person though, right?
Right,
Okay.
but the driveway for the house never connected
To the storage areas.
My brother owned the property
Okay.
prior to
Okay,
Mr. Alpress,
okay,
so I know the history.
okay.
So we'd like to have it grandfathered in.
I mean, everybody that's owned the property has ran a business out of it. And we're just trying to do it the right way.
I don't understand the attorneys saying that they're still liable if somebody comes over the hill at over 35 mile an hour or whatever speed limit is set there. You understand what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but see, our ordinance before my time, it's adopted that you gotta have 500 feet of clear sight from the driveway this way, to the north and to the south. You're banging on it's close.
It's like 420 and 435.
Yeah, it's close, but it's still not 500 feet. So, I mean, it's brought to our attention now that we know that the sight distance isn't there. So if there is an accident, we're liable. The county itself is liable, because that driveway shouldn't be there. Now, I understand. Now, I tried working with, trying to get things around, even add dirt or cut the berm down, and that costs big money to do that. I was trying to get, somehow or another, we could get around this, and I just can't, according to the ordinance that we have right now.
This ordinance was put into effect when
Which?
the.
The 500 feet.
Oh, I don't know the exact date. Benton County's had a driveway policy for years and years since we've been doing land use, and so, it's been revised a few times, but as far as the 500 feet, my memory, it's been there a long, long time, so. We started land use in 1986.
Okay. Where this was put in 83, so prior to land use.
Right. The driveway or the storage shed?
The one was put in 82, and I believe the other one was put in like 86 or 87. They were both put in the 80s. And it's been there.
Storage shed was after our ordinance. The driveway, and I'm not debating. I think you mentioned that your relative had that driveway a long time.
Yeah.
And I understand all of that. It's just the fact that we're looking at creating a new use.
Yeah, it's a toughie. It really is. If there was, and that was my question, is there a way to assign the liability to them directly rather than the county? And it was, no.
I can't get an umbrella policy or something that would cover something like that.
You know, unfortunately, you know, county has probably deeper pockets than private individuals. And if there's something that happens, it's gonna be a lawsuit, and they're gonna go for everybody's pocket. So, yeah. And we know that there's gotta be more of these out there, it's just that they haven't come up.
Well, we tried to do the right thing.
Yeah,
That's what really irritates me, that we try to do the right thing,
yeah.
and
Well, and you almost have to, because you're looking to put a home out there. And so with that, you've got to have your well and your septic, and you've got to go through the proper channels to get all that. So, yeah, I mean, you're kind of forced to go down that road. So, yeah.
I still don't understand that we could lower the speed limit. And then it would be the person that was speeding through there.
Well, I'm not so sure that just because you lower the speed limit that you lower the liability. You know, and even if somebody is at fault for speeding, we would be at fault for, you know, allowing it.
You'd be at fault for the distance, not for
The
the
sight
speed.
distance, yeah.
That's what I believe he's saying, is even if you lower the speed limit, you have knowledge of the distance infraction. So that's what he's saying. The liability doesn't go on the speed limit. Yeah, they're in violation for speeding, 90% of people are, but the sight distance is what they're gonna come after for liability reasons to the county for.
Wouldn't the
Makes
sight
sense.
distance change per speed limit?
Probably not. But if you're coming over a hill at 55 or 50,
Yeah, I know there's driveways back in those gravel roads that are in gullies, and there's no way you can see even 200 feet away from them.
yeah. They got that road from Blairstown out to 30 closed, and it's a mess. I mean, they should oil the whole thing.
It's one of those those driveways in the gullies that you just, you know, referred to. If they came forth and was wanting to put a residence there, it would be denied.
But what, there's already a residence there and it's been there.
It's already a building there. How do we change the building, you know? It's the use of, so that's kind of where we are. Kind of in a situation where our hands are tied because of liability. Unfortunate.
I don't think there's very many of these in the county, if any more. And I didn't realize that there were any.
Well, he's already, you know, referred to several of them in that area, and you get, in some of the rolling hills, it's gonna happen.
I'm sure there's lots more that you would have no idea on. I mean,
Exactly.
you see how many signs that say hidden driveway, you know, especially if it's a school bus area.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's hidden driveways all around, but
Yeah, that's the worst part of it.
So-
Somebody in the future, let's say you vacate the property and somebody buys it that's got little kids. And then somebody comes over the hill and hits the school bus.
Well, I know, like I said, I visited down there, and that 2 acres is right in the bottom of that swale. I mean, it just, if you try moving the driveway, yeah, you could get 500 on one side, but then you're gonna be down to 300 feet of sight on the other side. I mean, it's just a bad, I don't know. So that,
The only possibility might be where if they could work out an easement with the adjoining property owner.
See, I looked at that too. Well, they have to come from the south, from the farm place. 'Cause they can't go to the north, because, I mean, you could, but I'm sure the farmer ain't gonna try to sell. They'd have to go quite a bit further north. Cause like I said, it's a swale. Their 2 acres is right in the bottom of that swale, and the knobs are on both sides.
But the two parcels that have been sold off, or excuse me, the one that was sold off is right next to this one.
On the south side.
Right.
So the knobs are like, the 2 hills are like this, and then it's a swale. Their 2 acres are right in the swale.
So it's not feasible to go to the person that just purchased the other property and get an easement to use their driveway?
That would be the way to go. But,
Yeah, that's probably not gonna happen.
yeah,
Probably not, because then you're.
He's not very friendly.
okay, well, enough said. He won't want vehicles coming through.
Okay. Yeah, and I visited with John about this as well, and, you know, yeah, I'd like to do something, but I don't know that we can consciously put the county at, you know, at a liability risk to approve it. Sorry. Just kind of the bottom line. You know, buddy up to the neighbor. Even if you pay them, you know, so much per year for easement for a driveway. So that'd be about the only thing you could do.
Mark, you need a formal motion approving or denying, correct?
Yeah, the board will have to take action on the matter.
Do you get along with the guy that's got the farm ground on the north side of your 2 acres?
I don't know who it is.
Don't know.
The one on the other side of the road, but I don't know this one. but-
Okay. Because I guess that's the only thing I did not check with Randy, the site distance, if, you know, you could further north to the farm field.
Yeah,
Okay.
But then again, you know, I wouldn't want to go all that work of having Randy come down and do the site evaluation again if the guy, the farmer, don't want to give up a triangle piece. Most people don't, and if they do, you know, they want lots of money for a little bit.
yeah, is that something that could be approved though, of a small parcel? like-
If you could, if the farmer was willing to sell you some, you know, before you even buy it, you know, if you talk to him and say, yeah, he might be interested in selling like a triangle wedge, that you could go further north. Then if he is, then you want to contact Randy Sherwood again. And Randy can come down there and do another site evaluation, that you're further north on the top of the hill then.
But technically, I don't think you have to purchase to get an easement. And I'm not. an
No,
attorney.
you don't have to purchase, but I mean,
I think you gotta, have permission from the
Property.
landowner.
yeah,
Yeah.
An agreement.
yes,
Let's put in the option.
yes, yes.
Yeah, because they record those now too, so that way when you sell and stuff like that, because at times they never did record easements, and, you know, now these older properties getting sold and trying to contact that easement, Mark and.
If it's not owned, you wanna be absolutely certain that you have a written, perpetual, recorded easement on file.
It's a lot
And
cleaner.
back to Rick.
Mark and I looked for those.
Where that light
names.
pole is, yep, at the edge of the property line.
Yep.
Okay, and then right next to it is, it was beans, as you can see in the picture.
Yeah.
But I mean, they'd have to, it ain't like they could just go in 16 foot, come in at an angle. They're gonna have to go a ways.
Right, they're gonna have to go 60, 70 feet.
Right,
You
right.
know, to get to the site distance.
Correct.
And once they do that, then they should be good.
Yeah,
Both ways.
right. If the farmer's willing to,
Yeah.
you know, easements are nice as long as they're recorded. And I mean, you know, when the, it's a cheap way of doing it, but on the same token, you know, that if it's not recorded, the next guy that buys the farm you got problems. So that's why I would think you wanna buy a triangle piece, you know, and then you ain't
It
gonna
would be in
worry
their
about it.
best interest
Yes.
to have ownership
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah,
But you
there's
don't know
easement-
until you ask him.
There's easements down west of Hannon Lake that,
He's
There's
in
landlocked property.
as long as they're recorded.
Okay. Well, if we have to take formal motion, I will make the motion that we deny the land use request with my apologies.
second.
All in favor of denying the land use change for
It's against. my-
23 T82?
I
Aye. But it's
I,
against my,
no, it just doesn't seem right. I
No.
get it. It's the liability end. You know, nobody in their right mind accepts liability for something. And
like I said, I tried, I was down there twice.
well, visiting with county attorney, visiting with John, for example, you know, having these folks here. The real alternative is to try to obtain some additional ground for a driveway.
I wouldn't give up. I would talk to the adjacent landowners and try and get,
Yeah, because at this point, it's not good for anything, that,
It's a worthless piece of land now.
to John.
Right, right. Yeah, and I know he wants to pack up and move out of state. He just soon have all this behind him. Yeah. So,
and even if you sell it, let's say let's say you decide I'm gonna live somewhere else, whatever, and I don't want this property anymore. Well, it devalues the property.
Well, again, even if they accepted the liability on it, which they would, that doesn't relieve us and a new property owner, we're still on the hook
Well,
for the liability and.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
basically, the only people they could rightly sell it to would be an adjacent landowner that's already got access.
Pretty much, pretty much. And it's not, I mean, they're looking to purchase the property, All Press owns it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry, folks.
All right.
Hopefully, you'll get with the property owner there and we'll see you again.
Yep, thank you.
I never got this job for that.
Hmm?
I never got this job for that.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Well, like I said, I was down there twice, and I was trying my darndest, trying to get it through,
Yeah.
trying to figure out something, but. Whoa, we ain't got much going on now? We
I
don't.
think we've got a little bit of time here.
They tell us how much time to put it on, so.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
I guess we could take a recess until then.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
That way you can
Mhm.
shut things down. So 10, motion to go to recess.
It's never a bad idea.
I'll make that motion till 10:15.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Cemetery.
Well,
I haven't really explored
Deal
very far away from this building and
died
driving
back
in and
in
out of town 8 different ways with
November.
all the road construction.
you remember him, Andy
On my way
Nicholas?
to and from work.
You know, used
That's
to run
about
for
all I've explored so far.
Michigan in a car accident. I didn't know,
Uh-huh.
didn't know that till this
It's
weekend.
better right
Her
now,
husband
because
called
that's
me.
how I've been going, so that's how I was going.
She's gonna
Then
get
I
married
switched
down
to
here.
Halo in Shelfsburg, then there was construction there. Then I went
So
to
she's been in
30, or
cold
whatever it is,
storage?
Highway
Cremation.
100, then there was construction there. So I'm back to Urbana for now,
Like
until
I
they
said,
start
I
that
didn't know,
roundabout.
you
So
know,
we
didn't know
toured
nothing
up
about it. I was kinda
past
shocked.
Brandon and on up to Blacktop and back over.
But
to
there hasn't
170.
been many deaths.
About a mile
No.
south of
Spring or
Brandon,
something.
here
Well,
comes,
I was trying to think who's the last one. Well, it would've been Russ Warning's son-in-law. He
seven,
died of cancer here. He
10
was only
pheasants out of the
53.
ditch.
That was like,
Gotta get a new windshield.
Oh.
So they're gonna bury
Now there's,
the ashes.
there was 7
What do
to
you
10
do?
in that
Post
bunch,
all
now
water?
there's 6 to 9.
well, on this deal, probably a postal auger because she's in a box.
And then I turn on 150, thought, well, maybe we missed all this. Well, I'd be sick for 20 minutes anyway, so I got a broken window.
And you still have
And
good
I still had to
traffic,
wait for
lovely.
traffic. But
Yeah, the last time I was on 150, you got right through.
I think they just
we
do
were the
stuff.
last bunch of you.
Willie Holmes
I was
was
just gonna
Picked
say.
living here
everything up.
getting,
I was this morning, did you
and
come
Dad
back?
got
Yeah.
a phone call.
No, I came through Urbana today. I don't know if that's what,
Yeah.
is that that? I just drive, but yeah, it was fine this
It's
morning.
about
Good.
19.
That's why I'm in the
Yeah.
Iowa.
I was on at about 7 and it was good.
So he,
Okay,
Right.
Kristen.
Alrighty, so as you guys have in front of you, we have Dean's employment contract. I don't know if you have questions you want to ask. If so, we'll go into closed session.
Can I ask, for clarification?
Yep.
When a new employee hires put on the agenda, for employee contract, are we supposed to always put it on closed session? Because last week there was one listed and it wasn't as closed session.
Lindsay was already hired, so there wasn't any question, so if it.
Because I just want to make sure that way it's.
So I didn't have Lindsay's on closed session because she's technically was already hired. We just didn't have the contract done when she was actually started way back on July 1st is when she was technically appointed. For him, it's to discuss if they have any questions to ask him and then also approve the contract. So that's why I specified.
Okay, I just want to make sure,
Yeah.
so you will tell us no matter what. Okay,
Yep.
I just want to make sure for the agenda and
Yep.
minutes purposes that we are
Yep,
not going to miss
it's
something.
situational, so.
Something, okay.
Can we read this first?
Yeah.
That way we don't even have to go into closed
Sure.
session probably.
Perfect. It's pretty basic and pretty in line with what we've been doing, so. Yeah, I don't think I've ever hit a pheasant before, or, no.
I had a turkey come out at me once on the high road and my
And
window
they're-
was cracked open like
They're
this.
big.
And I'm like, oh, that takes it. I was gonna have
I've
glass
seen
all
them go
over.
right in the grill of a vehicle before. and-
Well, yeah, because my window was just open, just get air movement, and I'm like, oh, if that comes through,
Oh, and a turkey came like flying at you, lovely.
Yeah, luckily it deterred, but I was a little nervous
Say
there for a
between here and
second.
the mountain on the low road.
It's hysterical.
That's where you'll see the owls.
Yeah.
Really?
You want to see pheasants though, you wait till they pull the crops out, go north, like on the gravel road, going to LaPorte that way. There's pheasant out there.
I was gonna say, it's probably gonna get bad in the fall and,
There isn't as many pheasant as you used to see.
They're starting to come around because you haven't
It's
had
coming back.
you haven't had the wet springs to kill off the hatch.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
why?
they're really coming back.
I saw a little fawn by my sister-in-law's right off of 150 yesterday. It was probably just about that tall. It still had the spots. It was so cute. And I'm like, go south, go south.
way, yeah.
I'm like,
So cute till it ends up in front of your vehicle.
yeah, that's why I was like, I'm past you now. I'm like,
Big brown vermin at that point.
Well, it's like driving that, I've been driving, Mount Auburn Bridge on the brand new blacktop every day, that whole stretch from there to Line Creek Bridge. Awful.
Have more questions?
I don't have any questions.
Awesome. Well, that makes it easy then.
Yep. Do I have a motion to accept the contract
You
and
do.
sign it? Do I have-
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. So we'll do your copy, Tracy, pass it around, and then I'll grab it, and then we'll sign it.
Awful deep.
Thank you. I was in New Mexico for 2 weeks, Boy Scouts, we did a
Oh my.
Yep. I tell you what, that one morning, we started at 9,000 foot and at 12.
can I keep this?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, and I can
perfect.
send it,
I'm an
I've
old guy, I
been
tell
sending it
you
to
what.
Haley electronically as well.
That's fine,
Those
just
kids-
for,
Those kids
yeah,
were just a
yeah.
truck in and we're like,
She needed it for minutes or something.
That's why I didn't know if
We did over
you,
80
sometimes,
miles.
I'm doing the minutes
Yeah,
this
in
time,
that
so I just wanna
session.
make sure I'm
Whatever's
on.
easiest for you.
Yep, perfect.
You want yours signed too?
Chance of a lifetime.
It is.
I'll send you over the sign.
I was gonna
The
say,
first
I
2
don't
miles-
think
We
so.
did 2 miles
Yeah,
the first
I
day
send over the
because
sign
by the time we got
Yeah.
all the spiel and got out there and, it was like in the afternoon, get there. That first 2 miles, I thought I'd die carrying that backpack.
I like your shirt, it's cute.
Thank you. Yes, when he called me back for his interview, he was on the top of a mountain where he had cell service.
It's actually called Beam Skyline. And like a 280-degree view. It was beautiful up there.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
You got any reports? You come later on. Nothing? Now I'll accept it.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.